guy, we do have a YouTube super thanks, but you know what? It's more in a PayPal way of doing things. So, Andrew Margot, which I believe is Mag RC, brother, thanks for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. There were kind of like some comments, guy, what the heck are you doing? Basically, that's kind of what it was. What I was doing was, this is the stuff, and why did I do the test this way? Do you think it was fair? I don't care whether if you think it was fair or not. That's the whole point. Whatever. This is the stuff that I've used for years. Original formula Armor. I don't know if it's changed. I don't care if it's changed. It's a white spray that I use on tires, plastic, gaskets for doors, trunks, rubber seals, all that kind of stuff. Rubber trim, plastic trim. This is the stuff that I've always used, like, since I was born, I guess you want to say. I don't know when this stuff came out, but my mother used this stuff. And why do I say my mother? Well, because my mother used to race at New England Dragway, and we used to go to car shows with her cars. Basically did the same thing. Sometimes you use what you know. So, Kow RC had reached out, not even reached out, how do I say it? They just sent me boxes of stuff. They sent me this stuff right here. There is something that you need to know about this stuff right here. That is actually what's inside this. So if you want to add to your cleaning power of these hide wipes, you go ahead and spray some of this on. But specifically, this was designed, he kind of said that this was not really a mistake, but the initial, I think he said, intention, this turned out to be just that much more than what he was thinking in his head, is what I get from the conversation I had with him. So, that being said, I did the test. I put these two products basically head to head up against each other. Only because I always use this stuff, and I use it for RC stuff. I used it for cleaning bodies, cleaning Lexan, whatever. I wanted to see, was this the real deal? So what I did was I had 4 basically identical condition tires. Dirty, this white weird stuff that kind of like has accumulated on it. I don't know what it is. It does wipe off. It does wipe off under like mechanical agitation. So if you take like something and like, you know, really rub at the tire, that white stuff will kind of come off. You can see what I just did. I literally just took that stuff off with my hand. But it had dirt all in the tread. I did my best to clean it out. And basically how I did that was I did it with brushing, manipulation of the tread, just kind of getting all the garbage as much as I could out of there. And then what I ended up doing was taking my air compressor and basically using the air compressor and dragging it over all the tread just to get all the stuff out. Then I took a Ziploc bag, I stuffed one tire in one tire in another, sprayed as much as a mist that this would make. This doesn't really mist. This kind of does like an odd, like, if you've ever sprayed Armor, you know how this comes out of here. This stuff definitely misted way better because it's got a misting kind of adjustable sprayer. This one just has like a on and an off, so you don't really have a choice. I put seemingly equal parts of the material in both. Armor is on this side, and the Kow RC Moo Clean Tire Wash was on this side. Looking at the bags, I guess these have been in these bags for about, let's say like half a day. I kind of want to say. I did put it in the sun, but that was just to kind of like accelerate the warming process. I don't think you have to do that. I think if you just put it in the bag and kind of give it like a massage, because that's kind of what I did. Sprayed it in the bag, gave the tire like a massage, and left it alone. Same thing with the tire wash. Same thing, just sprayed it in there. That definitely atomized a lot better. I could clearly see a difference between the two in the sun. The Armor seemed to fog over more. Seems to have some type of maybe a more of a water content in it maybe or something. But I am also noticing in the bag the tire looks different. So this may be a determining factor for somebody, whether if you want maybe a more glossy shine or if you want a more natural tire look. Dirt-wise, it does appear, and the other thing too is I think the Armor, I don't think the Armor absorbed into the tire as much, because at one point, and I don't think anything is leaked. I don't think anything is, I mean, this is a double Ziploc bag, so I don't think anything has leached out of the plastic. I don't know, maybe it did, I don't know. But I'm almost thinking like the tire wash, I think, seemed to embed itself maybe more into the tire than the Armor, where the Armor almost has like a, still kind of like a wet coating. Do you know what I'm saying? This tire basically kind of looks dry and ready to go. So let's take the tire out of the Armor bag. Gonna inspect that, gonna wipe it down. I am gonna use fresh, clean paper towels just to see if there's any like residual stuff that I can see on the paper towel. So this is the selector size. So I'll have like, you know, one for that tire and we'll do one for that tire just to see what the two paper towels look like. And they should shred, I'm guessing. And like I was saying, this was basically the condition of both tires kind of before I put them in. The Moo Clean may have a slight advantage only because I did take a hide wipe and I did kind of wipe down the sidewalls of the tire just to see what it would do. With the Armor, I didn't do that. I took a towel and manually wiped it down just to see what I could get off the tire. So that might be the only thing that is a difference, but I really don't think it matters because the condition of the two were basically the same. So I'm trying to keep the contents down. That's why these are elevated. So we've got the Armor tire. Again, probably like, I guess, half a day. So coming right out of the bag, you can see it's very wet still. It has kind of has a funky smell to it. It has more than just a Armor smell to it. It's almost as if I can smell the tire. So I'm going to put that over there, but I want to wipe this down and see. So like I'm saying is that I basically kind of like semi clean the tires before I put in the solution. I also went ahead and I checked the bead and I repaired the bead on both tires. And what was funny and why I chose these two tires is because these two tires had equal amounts of separation between the bead and the rim. I can't say it's exact, but it was exact enough to do the test. So what this test was is, does the Armor clean, condition, what does it do to the plastic within reason, and how easy is it to wipe down once I'm all done here. So I'm really not seeing a major shine on this tire because this is just considered a protectant. Feel-wise, tire feels good. Bead-wise, we've got no separation of the bead. This is where the glue is. It basically went from here to there. I can see it on the rim. It doesn't look like the Armor has affected the super glue or the tire glue. I did use my Bob Smith's Industries from Kow RC. This is actually Bob Smith tire glue, and Kow RC basically says that. He said that, you know, he can't find any better glue than this, and I totally agree. I use primarily Bob Smith's Industries for tire glue and all that stuff. So looking at this tire, again, I mean, you can see like all the little wetness all stuck in there. No big deal. You just kind of wipe it off. Feels fine. Feels good. Like I said, it does have a weird, like, accentuated rubber smell right now. I don't know what that means. Looking at the fluid itself, you can still see it's a little milky. There is a little bit of separation between the fluids. So you have a lighter fluid on the top, you have a milky, and it seems to get darker the further you go down, and then you've got like a pocket of debris on the bottom. So that's that, and you can see how the bag itself is kind of like coated. So that's this tire. That's the Armor. So now let's check out this stuff. So this is the Moo Clean. And right off, the tire is coming out. It looks essentially almost dry except for the bottom there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this paper towel. This is the paper towel from the other stuff there. Give this kind of like a quick little wipe. Smell-wise, I don't smell as much, not as much of a rubber smell with this. sheen wise, it just looks like a clean tire. I am noticing we do have dirt right here. And basically got the same thing on the Arrma tire. Like I said, I can smell the rubber, but not as much as this. This definitely has more of that rubber smell to it than this does. This almost has like a fresher smell to it. And maybe it's because of the chemicals that are in there. Bead-wise, no separation, so basically the same thing. You can see my glue line going all the way across. There's no separation of the glue, so it doesn't look like it affected the glue. I do still see some of that white on here. Let's see if I take the brush. Give it a brush. What's that gonna do? So it looks like the brush takes off whatever that white is. I want to say I put equal amounts of the stuff in the bag. You can see the bag itself definitely looks different. It doesn't seem like there's as much residual in the bag. Also, the fluid basically looks the same, which is kind of funny. It's got a different layer, obviously, at the top, but that could be what's called the... what the heck is that called? There's a word for it. The very top is called something. Got that kind of like milky, dirty look, and then a little bit of grit down on the bottom. So the Arrma definitely has a slight edge, I think, over glossiness, but the Kow tire wash looks almost more natural. You can see that this has just a different bit of a sheen on it. You know what I'm saying? It's got like a sheen, where this more has like a natural kind of rubber look to it. Supple wise, trying to do is I'm trying to feel like if there's an actual... See what I'm doing? I'm gonna swap them real quick. The reason why I'm swapping them is I'm trying to feel if there's a hardness difference, like as if one... I feel kind of about... I mean, I almost want to say maybe this Arrma tire might feel just a tad bit stiffer. I'm not sure. But clean-wise, they basically look like they did the same thing. Again, the Arrma, you're going to have a little bit of a sheen difference. As far as the look between the two, I want to say almost appears as though maybe the Kow tire wash may have absorbed into the rubber more than, let's say, the Arrma, and that would kind of be, I guess, true by looking at the contents of the bag. If I can make it look the same. I put about the same amount of fluid in each bag. Not measured, just sprayed in. But this one definitely does seem to just have a different kind of sheen to it. I don't know if it's a different slip. Feel about the same. So it seems as though the Kow RC product may have impregnated itself more into this. Curious about the rim. Boy, it's kind of hard to tell here. Just looking at the difference between the two plastics. So here's what I took off with the Arrma. Here's what I took off with the the Moo Clean. So that may have been the advantage over that product, was that this one did have a hide wipe that I kind of wiped down the sidewall and tried just to get a little bit of the dirt out of it. The Arrma, though, almost, I can't tell, man. So the Arrma almost looks like it cleaned in between the treads a little bit different. Which if you take a brush, it just brushes right off. But you can definitely see a sheen difference. So between the two, I want to say the products feel very similar. I guess in reality, the true test is time. So this is what the tire looks like with this stuff. It definitely does have a slight sheen advantage. That may be because it coated, where it almost feels as though with this stuff, I'm getting the impression that it kind of absorbed maybe into the rubber. Like I said, sniff test. This one definitely has like an inner tube. This has an inner tube smell. If you've ever smelled an inner tube, I don't recommend going sniffing inner tubes. This has more of an inner tube smell. It's not like a smell that is from this. It's almost like the tire is gassing out, if that makes sense. Or you can smell it more. The rim, between the two, I think the Kow tire wash more gets into this material. So that was something that was brought out about that stuff. See, in the directions, this says spray on, agitate with a brush or a rag, wipe, blow, or rinse off. Non-corrosive formula. And that's for the Kow RC stuff. For the Arrma, says cleans away dirt, dust, and debris. Directions: shake well, apply liberally to a clean cloth, spread evenly, or spray onto surface. Wipe off excess. Apply regularly to maintain surface appearance and protection. Visually, and I'm only using a visual comparison. Visually, the tire wash from Kow RC actually visually looks better unless you're going for that very, very slightly sheened appearance, which it seems like the Arrma is giving just a sheen appearance. And like I said, you can smell like inner tube. And this, you can kind of smell the smell of this cleaner. Not necessarily like the rubber smell. And like I said, the rim, when I do like a scratch test with my fingernail, I try to do it with the razor blade, but I get like a pressure feel with my nail. Feels as though the Arrma didn't necessarily get into the plastic, where potentially the tire wash did kind of get into the plastic, if that makes sense. Very slightly. What does that really prove? That both cleaners work well, I think, for their intended usage. Why did I go ahead and choose this as my regular go-to? Well, because this is the stuff that I use. I wanted to pit it up against this, and I feel as though there is the possibility that this may have a slight advantage. I was able to find this. 32 ounces of this is $15, like $15.49. And if you go online for this for 32 ounces, it's $15.99. The spray applicator, this sprayer, if this is the sprayer that it comes with, which I'm assuming that it is, I'd definitely say that that's kind of better because you can dial in the amount of spray that you're laying down, whereas with the Arrma, this is designed for automotive application, being further away and, you know, giving it some real good pulls, and it kind of like just spritzes out, where this atomizes slightly better. Maybe that's a little bit of an advantage. And like I said, because you can dial it, you know, dial it up or dial it down with the Kow stuff. So I'd actually have to say that for its intended purpose, Kow RC Moo Clean Tire Wash is definitely a go. I do like the smell of it. I like the fact that basically that's what's in this container right here. And I've been using these on some other stuff, and it actually works. There's other stuff that you shouldn't use this on. Al might go over that later, but it doesn't cause any issues. I used it in an automotive application, and I wouldn't recommend using it for that. But otherwise, yeah, the Kow RC isn't junk, and I guess kind of like the proof is in the pudding. If you want a slightly higher tire sheen with a rubber inner tube smell, go with the Arrma. If you want more of a natural kind of tire look and the possibility that it actually impregnated itself a little bit into the tire and into the plastic, this might be the way to go with the Moo Clean tire wash. So anyways, it's RC Guy Garage. That's all this was. Basically just putting Kow RC product to the test, using an automotive heavy hitter is what I, basically said. And I had warned Heath. I said, dude, I'm gonna put your stuff up against the automotive industry and we'll see how it goes. So, and he was like, have at it, man. So anyways, I'm gonna be out later. What about you? What are you doing today? And if you had the choice, we're talking 50 cents. I mean, who knows? Price-wise, you could probably get the Arrma, at a different price. I don't know. I just did a quick search. But if you had the choice, would you go ahead and get a RC-specific stuff like this? Or would you go ahead and use the Arrma? I'm going to tell you right now, because this stuff feels better on the hand than this stuff does, I would actually rather use this. Now the question is this truly a cross-platform material? Meaning, can I go ahead and use this on my car? Well, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out, is this a better stuff to use in place of this in the automotive industry? So honestly, what do you think? Do you think that this was a fair comparison? I actually do, only because Arrma is the stuff that I always use. Kow RC is nothing I would ever consider using, but you know what? After using the product, I think I discovered that there is a clean difference between the two. What do you think? Leave a comment down in the comment section. Tell me what product maybe you saw worked better, and or would you switch to using this Kow RC specific tire wash? Let me know. Thanks for watching.